If I have problem with my internet, it will be it will be saved online automatically. If you want, before Antonino start, we can on our camera to do our someone went. We can on our camera to snap our picture for our social media and the report.
Okay.
Antonino.
Yes.
Can you hold on a second? Like they can just on the camera and we take the picture and then you can go on.
Okay. We'll close the
Yes,
conviction.
please.
Just 1 second. Yeah.
Okay, guys. Latifa, Mihai, please on your camera. We want to take the picture. Okay, those who are not owning their camera, I suppose that probably they have issue with the camera. So I just need a good smile from everybody. I want to see it. Wait. T. 1, 2, 3, go. Done. Thank you, guys. So Antonino, you can continue now.
To present the activity. Give me 1 second to do it. Okay. Did you see? Do you see the presentation?
Yes, we do.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Today we have to speak about a business plan. So how to create a rural company and generally a company. Of course, there are 10 steps needed to start a company. Make a research, create a plan, plan the finances, necessary finances, choose a corporate structure for the company, of course, choose and register the name of the business you are creating, then obtaining licenses and permits that are normally required for some activities, not for all, choose an accounting system, set the location of the business, prepare and organize the team, and then promote the business. Let's see them one by one. First of all, you have to make the person has to make a research, and there are different questions that the person has to ask himself before starting, like is there a need for my plan in production and services? If so, who needs it? If not, can the need be created? For whom? Are there other companies offering similar products, services, or services now? So there are competitors. Are there competitors? What is the competition like? How will the company fit into the market, and so on? Then you have to make your business plan. A business plan is, of course, something is a document, an important document that guides the company from the startup phase to the creation of the business, and also to grow up it. And it is, of course, necessary for all kinds of businesses, especially for those that are starting in this period, because they are considered startups. The plan should answer to different questions, such as why do you start this activity and what is the purpose? What is the corporate objective of the company? How you can measure it? What will you sell or produce? In which way, and to whom is produced? Then why is the proposal, the business competitive in comparison with others? What is the initial capital required to start the business? What are the monthly expenses that you should have? And at the beginning, after 3 months, after 6 months, after 1 year, what income do you think you have now in 3 months, in 6 months, or in 1 year? And which will be the future of your company in 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years? When you start a small business, normally it is not necessary to have a lot of money, but in any case, it is necessary to have some initial investment, and the entrepreneurs, of course, has to have the ability to cover the possible expenses that the company will have to go on every day and to create a profit, of course. So it is necessary to take in mind that for creating a startup, there are, of course, running costs for the business, and it is necessary to have the possibility to find different kind of financing, because you need to have cash flow, you need to have small business loans, you have to ask possibility to bank, you have the possibility to realize a fundraising, you can ask helps to regional funds or European funds to create the company. Of course, there are different kinds of companies. These are the companies, the picture that I showed you are the companies in my country, but more or less they are similar also in other countries. So of course, it depends the form of the society, of the entrepreneur, of the company. It can be a society of persons or a capital, a society with capitals. These are things that you have to manage in comparison with the law that you should have in your country. More or less are the same in all the countries, but you have to, of course, follow the example of your country and put a specific picture for this in the presentation to show the differences. For example, for the difference between a society of person or a society of capital, the main difference is that when you have a society with capitals, the entrepreneurs responds only of that capital in case of fail. In case of society of person, of course, it is responsible also for with his or her own properties. Everything is under the possibility to be loose. So there is an important difference among this kind of companies. And of course, the choose of the corporate structure is very important from the point of view of the responsibilities. So I suggest always the young people to speak with an expert in this field that can give suggestions, the best suggestion before starting the company itself. When the company is going to start, it is normally, of course, it is necessary to decide the name of the company, and sometimes, many times, it is more important to also to register the name of the business. This is, of course, to avoid that other could have the same identity, and of course, to have a quick recognition of the product, of the company, of the things that you are going to produce. So it's important to register the company to also, for example, in the Chamber of Commerce, in which you have a domain name. As I said before, sometimes for some activities, it's necessary to ask for specific licenses or permits. For example, if you want to start a company of taxis in Italy, it is necessary to have a license for the taxi driver. If you want to realize a bar, for example, you need to have a license from the municipality, because the bars normally are under the control of the municipalities and so on. So it is necessary to make a research and understand if the company needs to have a license or a permission. And in any case, many times it is necessary to have permission, for example, for rebuild or adjust the offices. For example, if you have to make some adaptation of the floors of the places where you want to realize the company, you have to ask permission to the municipality. Also for this, my suggestion, because many times the licenses and the permits are really connected with many laws, it's suggested to have the help of an expert that could be a consultant, a corporate consultant, a company consultant that is an expert from the point of view, from the professional point of view. Then you have to choose your accounting system. This depends, of course, again, from the specific law that you have in your own country. So there are many differences, many possibilities in the accounting system. In Italy, we have, for example, different kinds of accounting depending of the type of the company. So some company has to attach to all the expenses the proof of the payment. In other kind of companies, it is imagine that when you made the invoice is paid, even if it is not. But this depends, of course, from the law. So also in this case, it's important to have the advice of an expert that can suggest the best solution. In this period, also many companies, in different countries, in Italy, for example, it's possible, are not subjected to VAT for if they have an annual budget under 70,000 euro per year, for example. So this depends again from your own law in your country. So I suggest you to speak for this with an expert, a national expert that can suggest which are the differences in your country. But in any case, it's important to choose an accounting system and also a software to realize the invoices. For example, now in many countries there are electronic invoices, so it's necessary to declare officially and send, and these invoices normally go directly to the tax office in the specific country. So it's important not to make mistakes when you are doing an invoice, because each time there is, of course, a possibility to have a penalty for this. An important choosing is, of course, the location, because imagine if you have to create, for example, a bar, okay, and you choose an area in which there are 10 bars. Of course, it is not a good decision. Better to stay in an area in which there are not. So it's important, the location of the business and for the future of the company. So it's important also in this moment to do a search and after the search, deciding where is the best location, which is the best location for the company you are going to realize. Of course, sometimes the location could be also bought or rented. And sometimes, depending from the type of the company and the products, it is possible also to use, for example, co-working spaces, or to have the possibility to have a public administration that could give it for free. It depends, of course, from the services. In Italy, for example, many times the public administration could give for social activities the use for free of some public spaces, or ask for a very few renting cost. So it depends from the type of the activity the entrepreneurs will go to realize. One of the most important things is to create a team. The team is one of the things that are essential for a company, because the entrepreneur cannot realize everything alone. So it's important to have human resources that can help you to manage. Of course, depending from their competencies, their skills, their abilities, and you have also to create the team. You have to think that the competencies alone are not enough, because the team has to work as a team. So they have to work together, they have to go in the same direction. You have not to create fights inside the team and so on. So it's very important to make a structure of the staff that will work for the entrepreneur. It is important that the entrepreneur should have it in mind from the starting phase, from the startupping phase. And of course, also in this case, the team depends from the type of the company you are going to realize. And it is really essential that the entrepreneur should understand which are the necessity that the company should answer. Then, of course, it's important to promote the business. In this case, it is necessary to realize a marketing strategy. It is important to understand which are the necessity of the customers. You have to think that each time you are realizing an enterprise, a company, you have to take in consideration a necessity. The company can be born if there is a necessity to be answered. If there is a necessity, of course, there will be probably a product or a service that can answer the necessity. And in this case, of course, the company can survive, because it will be, of course, not a failure. So it's important to understand in which way it is possible to promote the activity. And of course, there are many different kinds of marketing. It's possible to do marketing online. It is possible face-to-face. It's possible to print or organize meetings and so on. There are many kind of strategies for the marketing. And many times it is necessary to realize a mix of these activities and to create together, put together many of them to have a good results. Of course, it is important to monitor the results of the strategy each time for each of the things that I already said, because the monitoring can help the entrepreneurs to understand if something is going wrongly, and to adapt its behavior, its decision, its necessity, and find solution for all the problems that can face during the evolution of the company. Okay, now we are in the idea of the business plan. It is necessary to create the business plan to understand which are the objectives, the strategies, the policies, the process, the actions that should have the company now in a medium term and also in a long term. The business plan normally has 3-5 years of evolution for the company. Should describe this evolution for 3-5 years. Normally the break-even point of a company is 3 years, so you have to think that probably many times before 3 years, it's difficult that the company will create advantages, economic advantages for the company itself and for the entrepreneurs, of course, because there are many costs at the beginning that needs to be covered during the first years. So even if there should be an advantage, an economic advantage, probably this will cover the expenses already done at the beginning with the startup. Of course, the business plan is used both from the persons who want to create the company, and on the other side, it is used also from the investors, because the investors can understand from different products. The business plan is one of these. We call it also business pitch in reality, which are, of course, which is the business model you are going to realize, which are the goals you want to realize, if it is useful for him to invest in your own company, which team you want to create, which is the strategies you are going to realize, and which stuff you will use for your personnel and so on. So it's a fundamental tool for sure, from both sides, both for the entrepreneurs and both for the investor. And it is important that the business plan should be very clear, but it should have different specific indication. Should be clear but also elastic, because should be efficient, and there should be also images, graphics, calculations that the investor can understand and control. Okay, if you want to realize a good business plan, of course, the suggestion is that it should have an index and a table of contents, because this is helpful to go directly to the point that you want to show or the investor want to read. There should be a research of possible competitors. So this demonstrate to the investors that you have make an evaluation of the situation around you, which are your competitors, which are the products that should be that should exist already in the same sector, and so on. Of course, also it's important to indicate which is the market that you want to in which you want to work, and the strategies that you want to use. You have to indicate the team with the describing shortly, but describing in any case the competencies, the abilities, and the skills of each of the person that are in the company and the person that will work with you. Then, of course, there should be also a calculation of cost and sales forecasts, profit and loss accounts, and so on. And I suggest, of course, to do together with all this description also graphics and tables that should help to imagine graphically, to describing graphically to the investor, but also to the entrepreneurs, which are the necessity, because this is very helpful to the investor and to who has to evaluate if the company can be supported and if it can receive money for the starting up period. As I told you before, the business plan, oh, sorry, I have to go back. The business plan needs to be light, to be synthetic, effective, and elastic, as I anticipated. Again, sorry. And it should be realized like a book, 3 elements. So a cover, an index, and a full description with so many graphics and details. It should be very detailed, but at the same time, elastic and synthetic. Of course, it's essential for the business plan to have a strategic plan. And as I told you before, normally the business plan has 3-5 years of evaluation, because it's necessary to understand in a medium-long period if the company has the possibility to remain in the market and to be fruitful. And so, of course, together with the business plan, that is also the industrial plan that indicates the company future management, the production, the development, and so on. There should be also a financial plan that explain the investments that are necessary, the way to cover them, in which way it is possible to have co-financing or a full financing for them, if it is necessary to have the help of a bank, or if there are laws that permits to have a financial help from different entities, if it is suggested to do an application, for example, at European level or national level or regional level with European funds. This depends from many things, but also in this case, it's suggested to have the help of an expert that can suggest solution. The phases, of course, of a strategic planning is, first of all, to align and define an approach, then to collect and analyze the data that you have collected, then to realize a plan, then you have to, of course, implement the company, and then you have to monitor and evaluate each steps. Of course, each of these 5 steps are very important for a startup, including a rural startup, because of course it's important to have a strategic approach to analyze and collect the data that you have developed, because from the data you can understand which is the situation, which is the possibility to answer to the necessity. So many times it's suggested to have also focus group or interviews, for example. It's important to have a strategic direction into the plan, because this can help to have priorities in your evolution, in the company evolution, and to ensure, in case of difficulties, the possibility to find solution for each of the problem that the company can face, especially in the first years of the establishment. It's important to underline that a fail has not to be considered as a negative thing, even if in Europe is so, but in America, for example, a fail is a kind of exercise, because when you have failed different times, it means that the next time you will not do the same mistakes. As, if you remember, Dame said the last time when he presented his own experience on his fail in his country. It's important to evaluate step by step each step of the company, because the company during the evolution, of course, can have different difficulties, can have different necessities to be faced, and if you don't evaluate and monitor each thing, it will be impossible for you, for the entrepreneur, to find a solution. So this means to evaluate the product. This means to evaluate the money that you have in your bank, the necessity of the financial aspects, and everything that is connected with the business plan you have done. One of the main methodologies that is used to help the young people to realize an idea of a project is for sure SWOT analysis. When we realize the activities with students, with young people, to promote with them the possibility to realize an idea, of course, we suggest them to work in two directions. The first one is to realize a SWOT analysis, because in the SWOT analysis, you can understand which are the strengths, which are the weaknesses of your idea, which are the opportunities, of course, that the ideas can realize, and which are the threats that you have to face. This is very helpful. So we suggest to have a large paper, to work in groups, normally 4, 5 till 7, 8 people, not more if possible, creating a team. The suggestion in this workshop is that the team, after dividing the paper in 4 parts, has to decide together as a team an idea. When the team has decided the idea of a project, the idea of a company, can start to answer to the 4 different parts of the SWOT analysis, and in this way can answer to the question. I put it some example of the questions in the picture, so you can ask them to answer to these questions, and this will be very helpful for them. This is an important exercise, an important workshop for them, because even if they have no experience, totally no experience in creating a company and creating an idea of a project, this SWOT analysis is a methodology that can help them to realize a very small, very essential idea of a project. So answering this question and finding for them an answer to the question, you will see that the team will work together, that they will be really amazed to realize this activity, and at the end, the result will be also the possibility to present to the plenary session. So you have to divide before the groups in different small groups. Then each group will present in a plenary session 3-5 minutes the result of its SWOT analysis. Okay. Of course, as I told you before, there are different kinds of strategies that can be used for the marketing, but for sure it's necessary to have a marketing activity. And this, of course, depends also from the needs of the consumer, the needs of the possible clients. So there should be a study before. This means to understand which are the possible person interested in the product or in the service you are going to realize. This means also to understand which kind of products is better to promote your product. It's important to understand how to reduce the cost for promotion, having the same result in the diffusion, and so on. So many things that that have to be, of course, searched, and only after the search it is possible to decide which kind of strategies is better to be used and which ones should be, for example, postponed to another period or not used at all. From the point of view of the marketing, of course, it's important to underline that there is a first analysis in which you have to see the environment, in which you have to see the competitors, in which you have to understand which is the demand of the market. Then you have to identify your customers, your clients, but take into consideration that you have to identify the targets. For example, not all products are directed to all young people. So maybe there are products that are for young people from 5 to 10 years. And there are products that are directed only to people from 13 to 18 or to adults and so on. So it's important to analyze the targets in each customer group and make another search on the segments of these target groups. Then you have to realize from the search, you have to understand which one is the marketing strategy that is better, and to use different strategies, creating eventually a marketing mix activity. And then, of course, you have to control these activities. So the suggestion also for this section of the business plan is to create inside the business plan also a marketing plan that can help also the investor and again the entrepreneur to have the right way also to promote the product or the services that the products or the services that he is going to develop. I made also an example of different marketing strategies that are necessary, that can be used for different kind of companies. There is the content marketing, that is a process of creating and publishing content to attract the audience, and it gives the possibility to have a large number of visitors or customers. There is the pay-per-click that is a complement to the content marketing, and is of course connected with online marketing. There is the social media marketing that is also the possibility to contact the possible customers using the social media. There is the possibility to realize an email marketing, for example, using, of course, also in this case, internet. And finally, it's possible to have also affiliate marketing when you have new markets and you create different platforms with which you can work. Okay, this is more or less what you have to explain during the session of the marketing. And then I will show you, give me 1 second, some exercises that you can realize, and then that can be very useful for you and very amazing for the young people. Okay, give me 1 second again to share. Do you see it? Okay. Well,
Yes.
Normally for promoting an idea, one of the most important thing when you meet the young people and work with them is that you have to create an amazing activity. And I suggest you not to do it in a school, first of all, but in a different area in which you can have 5, 6 tables with different seats, and in which all the young people can sit. In this way, you have, after describing the general idea that I presented you before, and you, of course, when you present them, you have to try to make questions or answer, trying to involve and to make the description interactive. In this way, of course, it will be not annoyed for them, and they will follow easily. Normally, this part should not have, the first part should not have a duration more than 40 minutes, 45 minutes, to not lose their attention and to make them still careful to the lesson you are doing. Then you can work on the workshop, or you can make the SWOT analysis, or you can make the pitching. What is a pitching? We will see. There are 3 phases for creating a pitch. The first phase is the elevator pitch. The second phase is the pitch desk. And the last one is the business pitch. That is, in reality, the business plan. Okay. What does means a pitch? A pitch is the way to find an investor and to take the advantage to have an investor and to have his attention and possibly also his financial help. Normally, to convince an investor, it's necessary to have at least 3 meetings. The first meeting is very short. You need only 2 minutes probably to have his attention and to try to have an appointment with him. The instrument that is used for this is the elevator pitch. The second meeting is you have already the interest of the investor, but you have to clarify him in a short time which are the advantages for him, which is the advantage of creating a new company, which is the advantage to realize a new business, which is the advantage to have this new business or new service done by you and not by others, and so on. And the instrument that has to be used is the pitch deck. The third meeting is the last phase, in which you have already quite convinced the investor, and probably it will be necessary now to go deeply in the economic and financial analysis, because, of course, for adding the money, the investors would like to understand everything. In this case, the time to realize the business pitch will be 1 or 2 hours normally, at least. Okay, so let's see which is, first of all, an elevator pitch. And from what starts the idea of an elevator. Of course, as why it is called elevator pitch, first of all, because the idea is that you can have possibility to speak with a person in the time which you can take an elevator. So this means that you could have 1 minute, 2 minutes, 40 seconds in which you have to try to have his attention. It is exactly the time to have, of course, to move from one floor to another floor in a building. Of course, don't think of an elevator in a building that has 80 floors, please, but think of a normal building. So,
Antonino, I have better. Taking an Italian coffee.
Yes, why not? It's important that in this moment you can an investor is interested in giving you the money only if it is fruitful for him. So it's important to have his attention, and the elevator pitch can permit, of course, to have in few minutes his attention and the possibility to for the startupper to present shortly his idea. There are, of course, methodologies to present the elevator pitch. This image explain you exactly what it is necessary to do. Stop the investor if necessary. Also in the street. Give him the idea in 2 minutes, in 1 minute, in 40 seconds, and maybe if he will be interested, he will give you the appointment to do a second step, a second meeting in which you can present fully your idea, and you will use also the first step, the elevator pitch, also for presenting the desk pitch. It is possible to give example. If you want, I also have, I don't know if it will be possible to be seen, okay? But in any case, you have it. No. Wait a second. You have the videos. I will not show all the videos, of course, but just to explain that more or less there are 2-3 videos for each of the activity. They are in English, but you can find, of course, many of them in a way that isn't many of them in your own language. This is, for example, a video on rambly and actually makes them want to book you. I coach a bunch of facilitators every week in my private community, and one of the biggest problems they have is telling people what they do. When I ask them, hey, what do you say to your clients? They're like, well, when I go into a company, I help them with their groups, and then they come together and we collaborate and we do some design thing. And I'm just like, oh God, I'm so bored already. Your client must be so bored just listening to you. So I give them a really simple elevator pitch template so that they can really quickly tell their clients what they do, tell their clients and their friends what they do in a way that's not boring. And here it is. You know how problem, solution with process. You know how teams suck at kicking off projects? Well, I help them kick off their projects using design sprints. I'll give you one more example. You know how some people's teeth aren't straight? Well, I know how to make them straight using braces. Dentists. How do you tell people what you do in a way that isn't rambly and actually makes them want to book you? I coach a bunch of facilitators every week in my private community, and one of the biggest problems they have is telling people what they do. When I ask them, hey, what do you say to your clients? They're like, well, when I go into a company, I help them with their groups, and then they come. Okay, this is just an example of one of the possible video. There is also some animation that you can use that is that explain also the elevator pitch.
I told you that you can use motion array to improve your videos fast. For example, you can create a As an entrepreneur, you likely started your business because you identified a need for your product or service. And it stands to reason that those with the same need will likely seek out your solution with cash in hand. The reality, though, is that the market first needs to know that you have a solution, and they must understand that your solution has value. So, how does this happen? In the simplest of terms, it comes down to your value proposition, or what is commonly referred to as your elevator pitch. It's called an elevator pitch, as you should aim to keep it as brief as the time it will take to explain what your company does during a short ride in an elevator. Don't spend your time talking about what you do, but instead explain why you do it and what the benefits are to your customer. You need to place the customer's need at the heart of your pitch, not the product, as it's the value they'll receive that will motivate them. So, when it comes to elevator pitches, try to answer these questions: who you are, the problem you solve, who your ideal customer is, and how can they buy? Here's an example. Hi, my name is Joe Spiceman from Salsa Alta. I believe life's too short to suffer through bland eating experiences. With our condiments and dips, every bite you take will be an explosion of flavor. Our salsas are free of preservatives and artificial flavors and colors, and are made from only the ripest and freshest ingredients. So if you value flavor and love to support local food, then stop by our booth at the downtown farmers market every Friday morning and rediscover how food should taste. Hope to see you there. To learn more about crafting your pitch, visit agric.gov.ab.ca/bizinfo.
Okay, this is another example of video that you can show in the this time I have chosen also videos that are related with the rural area, of course. Then we're starting the presentation. Okay. Of course, the second step is the pitch deck. The pitch deck, of course, is a presentation. Normally is done with PowerPoint or Prezi or some other keynote, for example, but normally PowerPoint and Prezi are more used for an oral presentation. Together with an oral presentation. So there are slides to present the activity from together with the oral presentation. The oral presentation is the pitch, and it is 30 seconds, 5 minutes. Normally we ask the young people to realize some study. So they have to work on the things that I will show you now, and then to prepare a video of what is their idea of company. I will show you something done from some students that we have already realized in the past. Okay, the pitch has to be presented in this way. First of all, the first slide should give the startup name. In one sentence. It should indicate who is the speaker, the title, the date, and the place in which the activity is presented. Then, the students, the learners, has to understand which is the problem, which is the necessity to be answered. And if they understand what is the problem and which are the consequences of the problems, of course, they can identify the possible solution. That is the next step. When the problem is identified, of course, the solution arrives logically. And they can understand in which way their product are a solution for the need. Then they have to identify the market. Who are the possible customers? Who are the possible clients? Who are the possible users? How big is the market? In which way the market is waiting my product? Is ready for our product? Is possible to introduce our product in the market, and so on. Then the next step is, which are the competitors? Which are the main competitors? What characteristics do they should have? How come they do not solve the same problem? And so in which way our product is, of course, better in such a way from the one that the competitor should offer. Then you need to have the indication of the revenue. So it's important to create a revenue model. This is important to understand which is the value proposition that you can generate and which way you can create money for your company. And of course, to make the company, to create for the company some profit. Then, of course, it's important to present the team, and the team should be presented indicating who is doing what. So, for example, me, I am Antonino. I created the idea. He is Andrea. Andrea realized the presentation. He is Clotaire. Clotaire did the marketing research, and so on. Okay, in this way. And indicating also the competencies of each person. So I had the idea. I am a business consultant. He did the presentation. He is an expert in graphics, and so on. Okay. Then, of course, it's important to have divisions in milestones. So, which is the situation of the possible company now, today, which should be in 1 year, which will be the vision in 3 years, to give an idea, of course, of the development and of the possible profit. And then, of course, the funding is which kind of investment is necessary, how the money can be invested, in which way the money will be fruitful also for the investors, and so on. Oh, sorry. Doing this exercise is necessary to follow some suggestions. There are suggestions on what to do and what not to do. Oh, okay, what to do is to ask the young people to tell a story. So they, in this way, they will be emotionally involved directly, and they will involve also the public, because creating a story around their possible company, maybe realizing also a video pitch of 2 minutes, they will be excited, really excited. They will work together, they will smile a lot, they will be amazed to do this work. Then they have to present only one concept per slide. Don't have too much, don't ask them to have too much things on the same slides, because this is not helpful to have the attention. So one slide, one concept. ask them to be prepared to have to give a good first impression, because the first impression to the investor is fundamental to have the prosecution, to have the possibility to go on with the activity. Present the entire team, presenting, as I said before, the characteristic, the competencies, the abilities, shortly, with few sentences, very short, giving the idea that the team is well composed, has the competencies to do the work that the company needs to realize. It's important to maintain the same style during the presentation. So do not change the presentations, do not change the colors, or use always the same graphics in the presentation. It's important to have a metric, because it's better, the person you know better, this is exactly the person that is realizing it. So it's the knowledge of the creator is better than anyone else, of course. What not to do during the presentation is not to use many bullet points. Maximum 2 or 3, 4, not more. Do not make a speech too long. As in the first video I showed you, don't create a presentation that is too long, because it is boring. So it's important to have maximum 2-3 minutes. This is the best one. It's important not to read, but to explain the concept. The investor can read while you are presenting it. So this means that the learner or the entrepreneur that is presenting the activity, the idea, has to repeat and repeat and repeat again before presenting the investor the idea. Okay? Then do not use too much text or images. It's important to have a text, short content, one image that explains, and it's enough. Don't be unprepared. So as I said before, it's important to work on the presentation, to read it again, to correct all the mistakes, and to remember what you have to say. So repeat and repeat, as you should do in front of a window. Okay, so repeat it again. When you are ready, you can present it. Here you have also some example of desk pitch. 3 example. Each of them is 3-4 minutes, so you can present them or, of course, you can find it, as I told you before, also in your own language, because there are many videos in YouTube for this.
There is sound on the video, Antonino, because we are not hearing.
Okay, it's just an idea to show you what to do. Another example of video is this one. All of them can be used because they are very fruitful and easy to understand because they are examples of pitches.
Antonino,
Yeah.
we have no sound. I don't know if the video have sound. We have no sound.
Yes, I have sound. I have sound. The video
But
has sound, of course. It's only music. It's only music, so it's not readed. There is
okay.
speaking in these ones. No, in the first one that I showed, there was person speaking. And this one, there is only music.
Okay.
So maybe even if you don't have sounds, it's not so necessary. But
Okay.
just to explain you what they are doing.
Okay. Okay.
These are different kinds of desk speeches. So, and explain exactly what the young people has to do when they will work. Because when they have answered all the questions, you have to give them schedules for programs, for solution, for market, for clients, customers, and so on. When they have answered to each of the schedule, they can present their own pitch. And of course, this will be the most amazing thing for them. Okay. Okay. Let's return to our presentation. Okay, the third video more or less is the same because the time is running fastly, so it's not necessary to go on. Because I want to show you some video then realized by young people. Okay. Of course, the last step is exactly the business plan. The last step, sometimes the step when you have an important company that is going to be realized is the first, not the third. So sometimes, many times, the business pitch, the business plan is exactly the first step. And then you can realize the elevator pitch and the desk pitch. But in this case, because we are speaking with young people that have no idea of companies, no idea of developing nothing, it's better to change and start from the elevator pitch and then arrive to the business pitch. As I told you already, the business plan should have 3-5 years of evolution. Also for this, you have the possibility to work with young people, asking them to produce a business plan. Also for this, I gave you some video. These are with voices, so
questa non la sapevi. In Italia esiste una community di circa 300 persone che sembra stiano riuscendo a camera di business aperta.
of course, you have for all of them, you have the link. So when you present them, it is easy for you to do the presentation. I don't know why you don't here.
Or trying to get a bank loan. Or maybe you just need a better roadmap or strategic plan for your
Now,
company.
yes.
Whatever your reason,
Now there is.
writing a business plan is actually
You
Yes, yes.
Here. Oh, okay.
faster. Let's get started. The first section of your business plan is the executive summary. This is your business in a nutshell, so try to fit it in 1 or 2 pages. This is always going to be the first thing you see in your business plan, but we actually recommend writing your executive summary last, since you're going to pull tiny pieces of all the other parts of your plan into it. Next is the problem and solution section of your business plan. Your company needs to solve a real problem that actual customers in your target market have, and they have to be willing to pay for it. Don't skip describing the problem when you're writing your business plan. Then say how your business solves the problem. Tell a story here. People are actually a lot more likely to understand and remember your business later if you tell them a story about a specific customer who uses your product or service. Next, you need to write the target market and competition section of your business plan. Your target market is the segment of the population who's a perfect fit for your product or service, your ideal customers. Be specific here. If you're selling shoes, it's not realistic to think your target market is everyone in the world who has feet. Include some relevant demographic information about your target customers. Your competition. Every business has competition. Use this section of your plan to talk about what makes you different and how you're going to gain advantage. Now that you've outlined what your business is, who it serves, and who you're competing against, it's time to talk about how you're going to make your business go. The next section of your business plan is your marketing and sales plan. This section includes pricing, promotion, advertising, really all the ways you're planning to reach your target audience. Now write the operations section of your business plan. Operations is all about how you want to deliver your product or service to your customers. What technology do you need to develop? If you're manufacturing a product, how and where are you going to make it? Milestones and metrics. In this section, you should talk about your major upcoming goals, as well as the metrics you're going to use to gauge your success. You might also want to include any initial traction that proves your business is on the right track. Assumptions and risks. Banks and lenders want to know that you've thought through your plans for growth. They want to know that you have a plan to reduce the risks that could threaten your business's ability to survive and their ability to get their money back. Team and company overview. This section is really about letting lenders and investors know that you have the right people in place to get the job done, or that you have the plan to staff up. Last but not least, your financial plan. Your business plan should include a realistic sales forecast, a profit and loss statement, a cash flow statement, and a balance sheet. If you're asking for investment, make sure that you talk a little bit about how you're going to use the funds you're asking for in this section, as well as your exit strategy. So that's everything you need to include in your business plan. For more details on how to write each section, check out our article on B-plans on how to write a business plan and download our free business plan template to get started.
Ecco come ho generato più di 300.000 euro in 13 mesi grazie al mio sistema automatico in 5 fasi.
Okay. Also, in this case, you have different video that can be used. When you have done this presentation, then it's the work to be done by the students. Now I want to show you some work done from the students during this kind of workshops in 30 minutes, more or less 20 minutes, because normally we give them 30 minutes to do 40 minutes, sometimes 20. It depends from the time that we have. Of course, they are in Italian. Sorry for this, but just to understand what they did, okay? This is very nice. I hope that you can listen something. I will try also to put more voices if possible. This was the idea because I hope you will understand. Sorry, but I don't see the video. I don't understand why.
You just see the sound.
Yeah, just see the sound. To see if I can see it in a different. Probably we need a different. What? Ah, perché questo è molto. Ok. Okay, I will open another one.
Oh, ciao.
The other one was more nice, but unfortunately,
It's not on YouTube. Man.
Per noi pendolari perdiamo troppo tempo a tornare a casa, prendendo i mezzi, quindi servirebbe rimanere qui, però non sei tu. Noi ci mettiamo davanti a scuola o nei bar, però non ci fanno stare per così tanto tempo. Però ci servirebbe un luogo proprio per studiare, sì.
Ragazzi, ho io un'idea per voi. Proponiamo agli studenti della fascia di età compresa tra i 13 e i 30 anni dei servizi a disposizione con alcune opportunità, come ad esempio degli spazi interni e esterni disponibili la mattina, le ore dopo la scuola, il pomeriggio inoltrato e inoltre il sabato si potrebbero anche organizzare delle feste e degli eventi dedicati al divertimento dei ragazzi. Poi sarà disponibile anche una mente economicamente accessibile a tutti, dei servizi igienici e delle aule dove appunto sono divisi per range d'età dove si potrà anche studiare insieme. Questo dà l'opportunità ai ragazzi pendolari di organizzarsi meglio per ritornare nel proprio paese di origine, oppure possiamo dare anche la possibilità di creare dei centri di incontro sociale tra ragazzi appunto della città. Il numero totale degli studenti degli istituti di secondo grado e delle università di Matera è pari a 13.200.
Abbiamo calcolato che ogni giorno questo luogo sarà frequentato da 132 persone, di cui il 65% spenderà 10 euro per la cena, il 5% un euro per il caffè e il 30% 1,50 euro per il dolce, ottenendo così un guadagno lordo annuo di 264.000 euro. Una gran bella cifra, vero Gianluca? Sì. Dal guadagno lordo annuale devono essere tolte tutte le spese derivanti dalle risorse umane, dalle utenze, dall'affitto, dalla quota degli strumenti, dei beni strumentali e dalle spese delle materie prime, giungendo così ad una quota di utile lordo pari approssimativamente a 53.200 euro. Una quota comunque sufficiente, no?
Partecipare al progetto, sorrisi alle 52 sono stati Titano Gaia, Titano Gaia,
Matteo Guida, Francesco De Vito, Gianluca Carrera
e Francesca Laverna.
okay, this is just an example of video. Of course, it was in Italian. Each group prepared a video like this, a video pitch. Some of them, when they have more time, they use also presentation and many other things. This was very This group had a very short time, so 15 minutes probably, to create the story, create the presentation, create the idea, presenting the idea, and cutting and creating the final video. But believe me, when you will work with them and we'll ask them to present in the plenary session, it will be very amazing for everybody. There will be a lot of laughing, and they will be very enjoyed to do this activity. And the evaluation normally from 0 to 100 is 85% of persons that are very enjoyed to do this activity, and they consider this activity one of the best done in their life. This is the suggestion that I want to give you to realize the training with young people for the business plan activity. And that's all.
Okay, thank you, Antonino. Thank you very much for the session. It's nice. I'm happy because my internet isn't stopped. So good. So any question, guys? Any question regarding the session? Any suggestion? I see one. Thank you. Someone saying thank you. Okay. You're not saying thank you. Okay.
Take into
Cool.
consideration that in the last 15 days, we made a session for startuppers, including more than 500 students together. So 10 sessions for more or less 50 students per session. And at the end, we had something like 45, 50 video pitch, and around 5, 6 ideas, in my opinion, can become real enterprises.
Nice, good to know. Yeah, Dan?
Yes, Clotaire, thank you very much. Antonino, once again, thank you very much for your presentation. It was, there is nothing to add. It was understandable. The information you gave are relevant, and really speaking, I once again referring to my own history story. I think this is one part of my bankruptcy or of my failure, because I was not able to read the business plan that was made by someone for me, and this is important insofar as when I was creating my business. I was meant to create a business plan, but I didn't know nothing about how to make a business plan. And I asked someone, a friend who was able who said he was able to make it, and he did it for me. And the problem I had was I was not able to read it correctly, meaning following the different steps in the growing or the development of my business. So I think it's important in so doing in the case of creating a business to know how to read the business plan, or being part of the creation of the business plan, meaning being with someone who will be able to explain you the different steps you will have to follow to improve or to develop your business plan. I have taken here some points with some. I will not ask all the questions I have. I will just summarize. But some relevant point you have talking about, meaning mainly about the accountability. In my case, for example, in France, it was not mandatory for me to have an accountability like a normal enterprise, for example, a big enterprise which for it is mandatory. In France, in my case, I'm what is called in auto-entrepreneur, a self-entrepreneur man. So accountability is not mandatory, but it was advised to me to have an accountability and to have another bank account which is different from my personal bank account. The location also you talked about can be a relevant point. For example, in France, it can be important for tax lowering, for example, depending to zip code or postal code. For example, your enterprise can be eligible for some tax allowance, and mainly if you hire, for example, local workforces. This also is important. In the way of developing your business also, setting up a network can be helpful insofar as they can connect you to customers. They know people who are in entrepreneurship, perhaps not in the same area or in the same business where you are, can be helpful in introducing you to their customers if ever they need your services, for example. So, do you think, Antonino, do you think all business creation deserves a business plan? What I would like to say is, sometimes when you take the referring to rural areas, for example, in France we have what we call medical desert, meaning in some parts of some rural areas they do not have doctors or something like that. And since the COVID, many people have decided to go and settle in the rural areas. So the business of real estate or medical business, for example, has known a kind of increased development. So do you think this kind of business needs rather a business plan or something which will be based on the study of meaning studying the area, meaning better knowing the area, or I don't know how to say it. Do you think a business plan like what you have demonstrated will be relevant in the case of creating a business somewhere where you are sure 80 or 90% that your business will go up, for example? Do you think this is relevant? And the second, yes, to summarize, it was just the question, because the rest of the points I was jotting down on my papers. You have already given some focal points, some important points that really answered to this question. So thank you once again. Thank you very much for all the information you gave us.
Well, the answer to the question is, of course, I don't know why my video is disappeared. I'm trying to reactivate the camera, but it doesn't work. No idea for this. Okay.
We hear
Your
you.
computer is tired.
It became black hello. I don't know why. Okay. Probably it's connected with electricity, because as I told you before, and today it is raining a lot outside and we have some problem with the internet and electricity. In any case, yes, Dane, for sure, for all the companies, it's always better to have a business plan. Even if you don't need an investor, the business plan explain you how to work, explain you as entrepreneur what to do in the best way possible. And it is, of course, important also to understand if your company will be profitable or not, because doing the business plan, you before creating the company, you can have the idea if it will be not a fail. If you can make a search on all the fields that I showed you today, of course, it is possible for the entrepreneur to understand something better and to avoid mistakes. For example, if you should do it before probably creating the first company you did in your own country, probably some of the mistakes that you did before could be solved, and you should not have the problems that you had. So it's always suggested, for my experience, is always better to do it. Take into consideration that when we do this kind of workshop with young people, and we are doing these things from 2015, so we have a long experience in this field, 8 years of activities. During these years, each time that we had trainings with them, at the end of the training, a real company or more real companies were born, and some of them became very important company. I remember, for example, a company that after a startup weekend, after 3 years, was sold for 8 million pounds in London. Or a company that now works for Safilo and create the possibility of new products for important companies in the world. So they have normally, I think now, something like 600 euro of revenue per year. So it's important to have the business plan for all the things that the entrepreneur can imagine. First of all, to have a clear idea of what to do, then to convince, of course, an investor, or to have the possibility to be co-financed by a public administration, like regional, national, or European administration. So my suggestion is always to do it.
Another question, guys. Thank you. Another question. Please, guys, fill the survey. It's important. Yes.
If I do not remember wrongly, next week you should be in Potenza.
Yes, next weekend.
There is the next meeting in Potenza. So
yes,
maybe we will try to see also a space where how the space should be realized for preparing these activities. Okay.
Okay. Cool. Please, guys, fill the survey. I'm seeing just 7 people have filled. We are 19 on this chat, on this training. So please fill it. It's important. It doesn't take like 60 seconds. Yes, business plan is important in any things that we are doing. Even can you imagine all project we are doing with European Union? We are producing a business plan for the project. This is how they evaluate. Our project plan is a kind of business plan, because we develop all the parts that is just explained now. Just that it is different because maybe we are not going up to 5 years, even though in this project they are still asking us about sustainabilities. And you can see like some materials using now, Antonino told you that is from another project that was developed. So this is still part of the sustainability of that project. Maybe they finished the project since 2018, but they're still using the project materials, which was included in the project designing. So basically, people, I mean, I know that in the African conception, many people say, okay, this one started his business without any business plan. But if you find out, they always have a small book like this, a very small book, where they take note of everything. And when something happens, they go and check it. So they have a kind of business plan, hidden business plan. They know everything that is happening. When they have a customer, they take note. When they have this like proposal, they take note. They have everything is one book. It's just like different shape of the document. So basically, it's like this. We need a business plan. And accounting is very important. For example, we as ABARKA, we as an NGO, we don't have for now we don't have any obligation for accounting. But since more than 5 years, we decided to run ABARKA as a company. So we are just an association by the legal framework, but we are working as a company. So every year we declare our taxes, we do our accounting and everything. We give the service to an external company that is asking us all the bill every time, all the invoices. So these are things that are really important. And because we are entering the Erasmus world, there are some grants that if you don't produce these documents, you cannot access them. Like more than 60,000 euro, if you're applying for more than 60,000 euro, you should show this document. If you don't do it, in 1 month, you cannot produce any accounting for the past 3 years and they can control it. So I will advise those who want to continue to take all these advices into consideration because they are very important. I will not keep you so long because we are more than 16 minutes out of the time. Just like thanking you for coming, for participating. Please don't forget to fill the survey. Those who are going to Potenza, we will surely meet next weekend. I wish us a good meeting. Please, Antonino, you can send out the agenda and the info pack because I think people are waiting for that. And if you permit me, I will just close the meeting for today. Allez, bye-bye, guys. See you soon.
Au revoir.
Bye. Bye-bye.